Quick disclaimer, there will be some strong language in this video and references to sexual stuff. Not too explicit, but if you don't want to be hearing any of that sort of thing, then here's your warning. I've come across quite a few videos lately which have been criticising feminism, and one of the things that's regularly talked about is how feminists have made it impossible for men to talk to women on the street because anything that they say is considered to be street harassment. And I kind of wanted to address this issue through my experiences of street harassment, and hopefully that will demonstrate how what these people are saying doesn't quite make sense. I have never experienced any harassment that has been too serious. I've never been followed home. I have never really feared for my safety, but I have had quite a few verbal incidents and a few of also involving being touched unwanted. We'll get those out the way first because they're a bit different, but pretty much every time I went to a club or a bar with my friends during my bachelor's degree, I would be touched by a total stranger, and it's a horrible experience. For me, almost every time, this was somebody grabbing my arse unexpectedly and often disappearing into a crowd because they were behind me, I didn't see them, and it makes you very, very uncomfortable. I even one time had the pleasure of having a group of 5 guys forming a nice little semicircle behind me and taking it in turns to grab my arse. I've also had a friend in a nightclub who had her skirt lifted up by a total stranger. I now want to move on to the actual street harassment part of this. I've had not that many incidents through my life, but the ones I have had all stick quite clearly in my memory. First one I want to talk about is by a single guy who likes to hang around the shops near where I live in Nottingham. And he has harassed me twice with the exact same thing of, "You looking for me, love?" Exactly the same. I can't quite get across the creepy tone that he used because I'm not an actress, but it was uncomfortable, and he's done it to me twice. And it's not just me. Every single female housemate I have had at that house has also mentioned that this guy has bothered them in the exact same way. One of the main things that people will say about street harassment is that it's a compliment. That's not a compliment. That is literally being asked for sex. The next category that I have is the wolf whistle, which is a classic of the street harassment genre. I've had this on quite a few occasions, usually just from people passing by, just a quick, awkward moment in your life. It's generally considered to be something that will happen from building sites, and yes, I have had that happen. In fact, outside my house when there was some roadworks happening. And then I felt really uncomfortable because he knew where I live, because he'd seen me coming out of my house. So that was great. I've also had this happen to me with a car driving past and someone leaning out of the window and wolf whistling. I believe he also yelled a comment, but I can't remember it. It was a while ago. But he definitely said something as well as wolf whistling. And I shouldn't have to say this, but just to clarify, I was wearing jeans and a really baggy hoodie. Sexy. Really asking for it. I have saved the best for last. It's really weird. It was horrible, and it's happened to me twice in 2 different cities. I don't know what to call it, but it was this. Puss, 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 puss. What the fuck is that? Is that quite literally catcalling? This happened to me once in Nottingham and also once in Cardiff, and it was the first ever street harassment I ever experienced when I was 16. Critics of feminism will often say that it's a compliment if somebody says that you look nice, and there can be a compliment from a stranger on the street, but it doesn't sound like any of these things. There is a huge difference between, "That's a really nice top, it looks really good on you," and "Your tits look great in that," especially if that's followed up with what they want to do with your tits.